The Extar EP9 Gen 2. These are my first shots, cold impressions. Haven't shot it before. In keeping with the theme of affordable options, went with the SIG Romeo 5 for a red dot. Got the included Extar USA Glock pattern magazine, 10 rounds of Winchester white box, fresh out of the box. See how this guy runs. That is soft. Last round bolt hole open, no malfunctions on some pretty soft ammunition. I gotta say, for a direct blowback large format pistol, because it's not a PCC, right? It's not a carbine. That is incredibly smooth. I'm looking forward to this. That's impressive. Coming up next, you'll see, of course, full mag +1. See how it runs fully stuffed. We'll do our mag what's for dinner test. I've got a variety of aftermarket and Glock factory magazines to see what runs and doesn't run. Then, of course, the what's for dinner test of 10 different loads of 9mm, see how it cycles on. But that is, I'm looking forward to this. Full magazine +1. Why? Because we're using Extar's own magazines. There's our +1. And 18 rounds. So we got a total of 19 rounds of 9mm on tap. Got to really smack in that full mag when you've already got the bolt closed. As to be expected, in fact, many of this format of gun, you don't want to even try it. But science, right? So here goes, 19 rounds. I've got the first 3 are PMC bronze, the rest are Winchester white box. Just ran out of Winchester white box while I was running through it. Let's see how it does, and we'll try to burn it down. We did burn it down. No issues cycling, and the bolt held open on empty. That was fast and easy. I'm really looking forward to this. Next, we'll do our multi-mag test and see which Glock pattern magazines work best with it. We know the Extar mags run. What I'm going to do is look at fitment in inserting. Just got 3 rounds in here. See how it fits. We want to see if it cycles and holds open on empty, and then if it drops free. Starting off, we have an old Gen 3 Glock mag with the Glock factory extension. Definitely rattles around in there. Cycles no problem, locks open, and drops. Next up, a torque mag. That is a tight fit. I don't know if you guys could hear the friction on the way in. There we go. Oh. Didn't want to feed that first round. Let's see what happens. Fed the rest. Locked open, does not drop free. Because we had that feed issue, I will eliminate this from the what's for dinner test. An older ETS smoke mag. Glides in. That was super smooth. Good lockup. Locks open. Falls right out. Pro mag. Not the most reliable, but they are available. Some front to rear. No side to side. Locks open, does not drop free. Yageman magazine. Front to rear and side to side rattle. Locks open, and you'd hope it would drop free. Ultimag from Vab Defense. These have that nice texture and windows on them. Glides in. We've got rattle in all directions. No issues. Does not drop free. Moving on to fun sticks. This is a Korean fun stick that comes with the Stribog Glock mag. It's got metal reinforcements. All the rattles. Of course, exacerbated by it being longer and heavier. We got bolt lock. I can get the camera to see in there. Accidental bolt lock open, interesting. but it does it once it's fired. Drops free. I will not use this in the What's for Dinner. Factory Glock Fun Stick. Rattle in all directions. And to my YouTube manual reviewer while I'm doing this, none of these are high capacity magazines. As you're seeing, I'm only firing 3 rounds. That's what it's holding. Smooth. Doesn't quite drop free. That's just a factor of momentum. The angle of the magazine is putting friction on the front of the mag well. I paused when shooting there because I felt bolt hole open. Getting to know this gun, it's pretty quick to learn. If you guys are unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, it's like on an AR, when the last round fires, you feel that the cycle is different, didn't complete. And picked that up pretty quick on this guy. An older Korean stick with the texture at the bottom. Lots of rattle. Runs and drops free. One of the newer production ETS translucent mags. Rattles. Locks open. Falls right out. We've seen that, I think everything ran, right? We had some, yeah, there was one peculiarity in there. But man, this is, I know it's not time for me to say it yet, but this is the smoothest direct blowback 9mm that I've felt. It's amazing for how light it is and how affordable it is. You'd expect this thing to just beat you up, but that's not happening. Certainly getting hot by the chamber. Let's see what it eats now in What's for Dinner. It's What's for Dinner time. Thanks to our patron supporters, Ammo Squared supporters, and the folks at True Shot Gun Club, we're able to show you 10 different loads. And as I'm coming along these, you can see their weight, overall length, projectile shape, and construction is all different. What we're looking for is, can it feed from slide lock? Is there enough energy to cycle it and feed another round of the same type? And lastly, is there enough energy to hold the bolt open when empty? Just a basic function check, running 10 different loads. Today we're going from a lightest of 65 grains to a heaviest of 165. So quite a variety. We've got steel case, we've got brass case. The steel is nickel plated, and we've got nickel plated brass as well. Hollow points, frangibles, all the stuffs. Let's get into What's for Dinner. Keep in mind, not all of these loads are recommended or even a good idea, but for the sake of science, I'm going to show you guys what runs and what doesn't. First up is this from Novex. This is a 65 grain plus P. They're boasting 1,800 feet per second, and that's probably out of a 4-inch barrel. So going to get a little bit faster than that. Personally, I think plus P in a 4-inch or longer barrel is a waste of money and wear and tear on the gun. But I know some people seem to think that it's a smart idea. This stuff is one of those polymer, compressed polymer or copper, don't quote me on that, material projectiles with the bimetal case design. If you've never seen it, it's kind of interesting stuff. All right, and this is running in a factory Glock mag. Very, very smooth. That was joyous. From Polyfrang, we've got some, or Polyfrange, we've got some 90 grain frangible. Good stuff for indoor ranges, places with environmental restrictions, or if you go somewhere like Thunder Ranch, where I just was yesterday. That was soft. That was very, very soft. Obviously it held open, we had no cycling issues, but if you're gonna do a high round count session kind of thing and you don't want any fatigue, that's a good pairing with this. Next up on the defensive side, Winchester Silvertip 115 grain. These are the werewolf rounds that are available to the public. That had stouter recoil for sure, but it locked open. Federal's Punch 124 grain in one of the older Korean sticks. Smells a bit foul, a little sour, but ran. Man, I'm still just taken by how smooth this is shooting. This does not feel like your standard blowback. Like, there are $1,800 AR format blowback 9s they kick a whole lot more than this thing does. Next is our wild card. This is Venom, imported from Turkey. No projectile weight stated on the box. It feels kind of like a 124 NATO, and a lot of stuff out of Turkey is, but I can't confirm it because they don't tell you. Just a surprise. Does not feel like 124 NATO in the Extar. Dang. You ever go shooting with some friends and have that one guy that just seems awesome, but only with his one particular gun that he brings? You hand him something else, he doesn't shoot so well. He's got kind of like a ringer gun that makes him look and shoot better. This is one of those guns. Next from GBGuns, this is also a Turkish load, 124 grain. It's a nickel plated steel case with a brass full metal jacket. Also pretty soft shooting. Smells a little bit like dirty barbecue grill. Hornady critical duty, 130 grain or 135 grain flex lock. I want to say that had a little more recoil, but really everything in this thing is feeling really soft. Federal's Tactical HST 124 grain law enforcement. What's a civilian doing with it? Enforcing the supreme law of the land, U.S. Constitution. Duh. That had more recoil, was a little stouter. Smells a little bit like warm tires. Federal Syntech 150 grain action pistol. This is stuff with the lipstick red polymer coating on it. Smells a little sweet. Recoil impulse, as you could tell probably by my shooting rhythm, wasn't as predictable. I couldn't ride it as much. Yeah, not the best combo for this. Last but not least, Ammo Inc.'s Stealth 165 grain. Super heavy stuff, awesome with the can on it. We're not running a can on this thing. This is just the blast shield that comes on the gun, because as soon as the can's put on the gun, all the performance characteristics change, and that's not fair to you, the viewer, because unless you have that exact same can and that exact same ammunition, the results you see as far as reliability, accuracy, all that kind of stuff is bogus. That also felt a little stiffer. Smells like a mix of cinnamon and plastic. Some of that plastic I'm smelling though is probably this mostly polymer gun getting a little warm for the first time and burning off some of that factory lube. Now we'll likely have to bring this thing out again in the future for, it's a little warm up there, for accuracy, to get Miss Tia's impressions and run some more things through it. But I just wanted to run through this, the basics of reliability, how's the gun run, because I'm sure many of you are like me and you saw how affordable this is and you look at it and say, well, it's so cheap, it's made out of polymer in the US and it costs so little, and they didn't jack their prices up during the crunch buys, and you think, well, maybe that means it's just not that great. It's just one of those, yeah, sure, you have a firearm, but not really. My experience today so far has been excellent reliability, and beyond that, one of the most pleasant shooting experiences I've ever had from a direct blowback. This is really, really impressive. If you've got one of those buddies with the $1,800 9mm AR style PCC or PDW or large format pistol, whatever you want to call it. So I'm getting bit by bugs here. This is what you take out to frustrate them, because this shoots so much smoother and nicer than anything else I've experienced thus far. As far as accuracy, yes, I was just shooting at a berm about 75 yards away, looking for leftover pieces of clay, things like that. I found that grouping things like this can be very, very subjective, because you got to ask what distance. 100 yards is typical for grouping things, but with 9mm, 100 yards is also an opportunity for the ammunition's performance to have a bigger difference than the gun. So you bring down to 50 yards and then it gets easy depending on your eyesight and your sighting system. So to be fair, kind of left the practical accuracy side of it out. If you're looking to get into a large format pistol, 9mm that accepts Glock mags, side charger that doesn't reciprocate, this is a very affordable and very fun option out there. As far as optics mounting, because some of you might be wondering why I have this so far forward. When you have your charging handle this far forward, if I wanted to grab here and charge, if the optic was further back, I'd risk running my knuckle on the leading edge of that there. So by having the charging handle start behind the mount, I can grab up here safely without risking cutting my finger on there. These are just little things you learn when you run a lot of guns through a lot of rounds or through courses. Bet you didn't know ARs can make you bleed. I was just at Thunder Ranch running an AR through the urban rifle course, and it made me bleed. So just a little tidbit there: when you mount, try to mount equal to that charging handle so that when you slap a hand up real quick, you're not going to risk cutting your knuckle on it. But back to the gun itself, really impressive. I'm looking forward to Miss Tia's impressions of this thing when she's available to come out and shoot it. But currently, I have full faith and trust in this. What's the lifespan going to be like? I don't know. I can't afford the time or the ammunition to do a burn down of a gun. I have a day job, I have bills to pay, and we're not a sponsored channel, so everything's out of pocket or donations from folks like you and manufacturers. I want to give a big thanks to Extar for giving us the opportunity to try this thing, because honestly, the appearance of the original, the polymer construction, and the price point made me think it was maybe at best range toy that's going to have some issues. And what we saw today was totally different, including their own affordable Glock pattern magazines that ran great. This is a pleasant surprise. I'm really impressed. Thanks for watching, and check out the EP9 Gen 2 when you get a chance.